Now, in a previous video, I talked about how to just get comfortable on camera and creating content, start stretching those muscles so you can become a more confident creator. But us introverts, we're a little bit different and a little bit trickier. So I want to give you some of my secrets that's helped me to create over 1,000 videos in these last 6 years of creating content. Let's dive in. So you are among many creators that are an introverted content creator like myself, maybe like you or somebody that you know. Here's the thing. That is okay. Most of the content that we're going to be making is in safe spaces that we feel comfortable. But there are things like external noises that will throw you off. Or if it's like me, where it's always a plane and I'm saying pause for plane, just pausing for the plane, because it's a lot of environmental noises at times. But as an introvert, when you're looking and you're staring dead smack in the middle of the lens of a camera, you start to get frustrated, nervous, and sweat just from making a video by yourself and there's nobody even around to hear you, bother you, or maybe you got the kids and maybe they bother you a little bit. But here's some of my favorite tips about just being a more confident creator as an introvert and getting past that. The first thing that I did was I took a picture of my mother and I taped it directly under the lens. This wasn't so that I could feel like or imagine that I was having a conversation with her, but this was so that I could have and allude to familiarity when I'm looking at the lens. Most people will get stuck and they're staring at themselves the whole time because looking at you is not weird, like you do it in the mirror all the time, or like it's not, you know, an uncommon thing. Looking into the lens does feel weird because you're talking and supposed to be talking to a person, but it's literally just an inanimate object. But once I got comfortable just relaxing, stopped sweating so much from being nervous, then what I would do is remove that picture and now I imagine that I'm talking to my target audience. The difference with why I didn't initially start with just imagining talking to the target audience is because I don't know them that well. I don't have actual names and faces and YouTube channels and, you know, have met them in person and all this other stuff. It doesn't exist yet, but I need to imagine and create that avatar or that ideal viewer and think that I'm talking to them and really verbalize what I would say if I was talking to the target audience. The reason why I say pick somebody comfortable is because you'll be relaxed, your delivery will be better of the content. Then when you transition into, now let me imagine my content as if I'm talking directly to the person and they're sitting in the other room. There's a weirdness about you giving some kind of orientation of like a delivery, like a talk. You're hearing yourself and you're like, am I even making sense? Is this clear? What the hell am I doing? Is anybody going to watch this and get it? That's a weird thing. So you have to learn to, one, stay on topic as you're talking, but also know that it's okay if you make some minor mistakes. There's some reasons why I don't even bother with corrections. We send emails out that may have errors in it, or, you know, if I missed a comma or something, which I do fairly often, or if I'm having something where maybe I'm trying to clear my throat or I'm sipping water or whatever the case, maybe I flutter my words. We'll just kind of lean into those mistakes and just make a joke out of it. I'm fine with that when we do that in editing because that's a normal part of the process. I've learned to laugh at those issues and mistakes that I make because it's just a human moment that I use to connect with my audience instead of trying to be perfect. So if you're an introvert, don't think that you have to be some perfect creator. You don't. You just need to learn how to be yourself on camera. The next biggest thing that I learned to do was to bring my attention and bring my energy up to like what feels like a 20, 30, sometimes even 40% over what I would do in a normal conversation. One of the things I learned about myself is that I talk with my hands. But if I'm sitting or standing or whatever, I will be rocking and doing all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, let me calm it down. Me talking with my hands is no different than if we were sitting literally across the table from each other. This is exactly what you'd experience. This is exactly what I would do. If you watch any of my vlogs on the vlog channel, when you see like me and Doc Rock interacting, or me and Tammy, or me and Jenny, I'm talking and I'm moving the camera because I'm still talking with my hands. Still do the same normal stuff that you would do, but imagine you literally are talking to that one person, not hundreds, not thousands, not 10,000s of people. Don't worry about the views. Worry about connecting with that one person and literally talk to the camera as if you're talking directly to a person. Now, this next tip is a big deal. When you're new to communicating messages through a camera, people are going to skip, scroll, scan the whole thing on YouTube, on videos, if they're allowed to. And if they can't, like on YouTube Shorts, for example, then they're just going to keep scrolling. If they start to disconnect, then they keep scrolling. You can't think about that stuff when you're trying to make a video, but you do want to plan to omit it when you're recording content. I'll show you how in just a second. Because I have the pause for playing. Create bullet points. As you can see on my phone, I make notes of everything that I want to say or cover in a video. And I won't make a whole script for a video in the sense of word for word, verbatim, this is what I need to say. And I know a lot of introverts will buy teleprompters and you're sitting there with your eyes with stop. You need to learn to be a better orator before you start introducing teleprompters. Now, I'm not against teleprompters, but I am against new creators using teleprompters and you're reading scripts the whole time. You need to learn to present who you really are on camera, and the information will come across, but stop trying to read word for word scripts. That's throwing you off your game. Instead, use bullet points so that you'll say, tell the story about the time I slipped into the swimming pool, and then make another bullet point of maybe how that ties into the message. The key here is to give yourself some time limits of what you're going to cut out, what you're going to say, so you have a starting point for the talk and a stopping point of where the tip begins and then where the tip ends. When you do this, it allows you to be fully engrossed into the story that you're sharing or into the information that you're sharing without overdoing it. And another pro tip on top of that is to speak into statements instead of speaking into whole paragraphs. Meaning, when you're delivering something, just do the segment or that singular tip and then stop. Even I still do this to this day, because that way I'm not stuck in my head, or I'm not thinking, oh, am I going too long? Am I saying the wrong thing? And blah, 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 blah. So you're having two conversations at once. One that you're trying to communicate on camera, which is the video information. And then the second one is, when should I stop, versus knowing where's the period at in your content. And one of the key reasons that creators that are introverts are not super confident with being on camera is just not being comfortable with the camera settings. Now, I did a whole other video where I walked into how to be more comfortable on camera and learn your video settings by doing that. If you want to check that video out, if you think it'll help you, definitely check out the video on the screen. If you invested into the camera that I recommend, which is Sony ZV-E10, I actually walked through 5 different settings that I change before anything when it comes to video, and some stuff you need to check. And that video's on the screen as well. Make sure you check both of them out, because I think you'll get a lot of value out of it.